Welcome to Blacksmith Banter, where we talk strength, mindset, movement, and what it really takes to train with purpose. I'm your host, Elizabeth, and I'm not just a fan, but I'm someone who's trained with Will Haywood and seen firsthand how powerful his approach can be. Look at my arms. Every episode, we dig into the principles behind Blacksmith Performance, personalized coaching that actually meets you where you are. Let's jump in. Thanks so much for being with us, Will.
Thank you for having
Truly
me.
appreciate your insight. So we're going to dig right in and get to know you a little bit. How did Blacksmith Performance come to life?
Blacksmith Performance. Well, it was always in my heart to branch off and build something on my own, make a stamp in the fitness industry. From the initial time I got in, I knew I wanted to really spread my wings and learn and share the knowledge and the passion that I have. I've been in the industry since about 2012, and so learning, being around other people, and growing. I was consistently working for others and around others. And, 2020, I was able to make a big change. Like a lot of people through COVID, you had some time to reflect and think differently about like what sort of things you wanted in your life, what you want to stay. I was having a great time at the commercial gym I was working at. I was successful, um, great mentorship, great colleagues. It was a good time, great clients. But I knew I needed to get out from that to continue to grow. And yeah, I think COVID was a perfect time for that. It was tough, change is always tough and feels uncomfortable, but I knew it was needed.
Awesome. And no looking back.
No looking back.
Oh, that's awesome. So what first got you interested in health and fitness?
There are a few different things that kind of popped up. I say like different episodes that really got me into fitness. A few things. My cousin, he was really passionate about it and about fitness and in the space. So he was a bit of a catalyst for that, showing me, a lot of different skills while training in the gym, different websites. A lot of people who are early on into fitness know about T Nation, ton of different articles and opportunities to learn through there. But I think something that really pushed me to want to do this for other people was my own experience through training for basketball. And during the off season, I trained with the track team. And I never considered myself to be fast or even somewhat fast. But after that summer of training with the track team, going into the basketball season, I noticed I would grab rebounds and I'd be running, and then like looking back, I'm like, oh, I'm ahead.
Oh,
Like
cool.
I'm one of the faster people on the court. And so that kind of clicked something in my brain, thinking like, okay, you can actually change, you can improve your skills no matter what your baseline is, you can push those limits. So that got me thinking like what this can mean for other people, how I can help other people find this and bring awareness to this.
I completely understand that because I know when you're training me, I get that feeling that you you push me because you're confident that I can achieve it.
Hmm.
And I need that push. I'm not disciplined enough to do it on my own, so I certainly appreciate your coaching. Was there a moment that really shaped your approach as a coach?
Um, Definitely when starting out, got my first, CanFit Pro certification to be a personal trainer. Um, and I was reading a lot of different contexts, whether that's online and in books. So I'm like, okay, I got the smarts. All I need to do is be in front of people and they're going to be successful. Everyone's going to know Will Haywood worldwide. Boom. That wasn't the case. I started out actually doing a lot of group coaching. So that was a fun experience to work with a lot of people, really have increased my learning from like having so many conversations. After a few months in at this internship and then working, having the group training clients, I started taking on a few one-on-one clients, and that was the opportunity. I'm like, hey, this is where I'm gonna shine. And it was tough getting people to do what you wanted them to do. It wasn't as easy as like giving them the meal plan, giving them the
Right.
workouts. And then on top of that, I started to recognize that there's so much more habits and things they need to work on outside of the gym that will help them be successful. And I wasn't able to create those opportunities for them or help guide them in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that transition of like working with people one-on-one and then having that experience, seeing those roadblocks was like, okay, something can shift to make this a better experience for everyone. And then that led me to like switching and focusing on psychology in university.
Right.
Yeah.
I think they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I think you need that for
Yeah.
sure. What's something you believed early on that you totally changed your mind about?
Even just piggybacking on that last thought is that you go to the gym, you'll be successful. And there's so many benefits to exercise, working out, just getting in movement. So anyone who starts there, very commendable. Great start, great work on making the change there. But to continue to help things snowball and to see whether that's weight loss, putting on muscle, having more energy, there's definitely other habits that go hand in hand with that. So working on your nutrition, working on your sleep, working on your environmental health and different aspects of your health are going to help put everything together and complete that puzzle. So it's not just the working out, it's all the other things combined.
It's true, because I think when I first started, all I wanted to do was I just needed someone to show me what to do and keep me disciplined to do that. But you've opened up. It's like, well, you're not eating properly and you're not sleeping properly. And all of those tools that you've provided has certainly made a difference in just the short 8 months that I've been with you. So
yeah, and it's very exciting for people to feel that within themselves. I can talk about it till I'm blue in the face, but when people come to that recognition and realizations, like, oh, this is actually helping, or this makes a big difference.
For sure. That's going to lead us into, what does performance mean to you?
So performance, if we're thinking about the word, it's an action, something that you're doing that allows you to complete a task or an effort, something that you're doing. So an athlete, that performance could relate to their sport. I look at my clients who are entrepreneurs, driven professionals, and recognize, okay, what is it that they need to perform well? What's happening in their day to day? Entrepreneurs, they might have early days, long days. Overall, a lot of things are around navigating stress. So their performance has to help them handle the stress, whether that's, getting the kids ready, getting themselves ready to, have a big speech, they have a big project that they need to prepare for. They're flying out somewhere, short trips, frequent trips, long trips, being in planes for long hours, again, right back into meetings, meeting other clients, coming back, navigating family, navigating social relationships, and then on top of that, like making sure they get to the gym. So helping my clients navigate that stress is good performance, whether that's carrying them through stressful situations during their workout to build that confidence so they know they can handle stress. Breath work, so understanding how to bring yourself down, bringing awareness to at times when you are stressed. How can you recover? Looking at times in your day, of course, your sleep. That's like one of the best supplements when people ask me, like, what can you do to better your health, your mood? Sleep is number one. But then also not thinking all or nothing. So what are other moments within your day that can be restorative and then help you feel recharged? So whether that's 5 minutes of breathing, going out for a walk on a lunch break, things like that. So anything that helps navigate stress is top of the line performance.
Awesome. That's great. So when someone comes to you with a goal, what's the first thing you want to understand about them?
The first thing I'd like to know, and also for themselves to know, is why the goal is important, why it even matters. So I'll have discovery calls with clients or people who are interested in training, and usually I'll say, okay, thanks for hopping on this call. Why are we having this call? What brings you in today? Whether that's, something that they're avoiding, something that they're concerned about, they don't want to have, a bad injury, or they're avoiding a pain, or they have a goal, whether it's a competition, a race coming up, whether they want to change their physique, their overall health, they're pushing towards something. I get them to articulate that. And then I understand, or try to seek further understanding and say, okay, why is that important? And something I'll do is say it's the 5 whys. And essentially you can go through asking a person why 5 times. And by the end of it, you'll get to their deep goal. So what's actually motivating them? And that's key for me to know so I can support them. And then also key for them to know so they're staying consistent. They have something that's anchoring them and they know what they want. So getting to know why someone wants to make a change and what their motivation is, that's where I aim to start.
And that's a good start. I know, like if I might come in with a goal, but once you've kind of had a little, see, I didn't eat breakfast. Can you hear that? I shouldn't admit that.
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, we will. I know. I'm in trouble. I know when I came in with kind of what my goal was, it kind of shifted a little bit after working with you as long as I have, just because that goal was achieved, but it was also not as important as the whole picture. And I think I went in kind of narrow-minded thinking, I just want to have Angela Bassett arms. That's all I want.
Yeah.
I know how to sleep. I know how to eat. And it completely changed my mindset for sure.
That's cool.
So what makes your coaching, well, we know the answer to this, but what makes your coaching approach different from a typical gym experience? We pretty much touched on that.
Yeah, tying into, again, not just the fitness aspect, I like to focus around deep health approach and client-centeredness. So deep health, I go through this through my peak performance assessment. So getting under an understanding of where people are starting from is important for that personalization. So understanding how they move, understanding where their strengths are, as well as where they can improve. Those are the main focuses. And then leading into the deep health section, that's another assessment where I'm understanding, okay, not only your nutrition, where are you at with that? What is your sleep like? What is your stress like? And then we're starting to touch on different areas of deep health. What is your environmental health like? Whether that's your home environment, your work environment, these are areas that you're always in. So I want to understand, what does it look like for you? Is it supporting your goals? Right. If not, we need to make changes there. Right. Same thing with mental health, same thing with social health. Do you have a good circle of support, or people, do you feel like you're doing it on your own? And then people do feel like they're doing it on their own, I tell them, well, hey, you at least have me. Right. I'll continue to share other opportunities to meet other people who are like-minded and continue to feed into that. So deep health approach, having an understanding of where they are there, the physical assessment, having an understanding of where they are, so I can custom and really tailor that approach for them.
Awesome. And I'm probably going to say this wrong, but you've trained in everything from neurotyping,
yes,
to facial stretch therapy,
fascial stretch. Yeah.
How do you decide what tools to use for each client?
Going back to the peak performance assessment, it's like really where people are starting off. So I do have a lot of credentials around movement, different exercises I can use, different tools I can use, and then also conceptual education. So like the psychology and how I approach different conversations. But that, like keeping those things in mind when I see your baseline, just where are we starting from? Who are you? What's the mindset that you have or limiting beliefs that you might have around fitness? And then starting to pull them away from those mindsets and just helping them build their confidence. So whatever tools meet them where they're at, and there's maybe a little bit more to push them, and then we're slowly inching through, getting higher and higher and building up from there.
Awesome.
So that can be different for everyone. Yeah. In our experience, some people might be just starting with body weight. Some people might be going to dumbbells, barbells, but again, just seeing where they are at physically and in terms of their mindset.
Awesome. And how do you help clients build long-term habits, not just quick results? Pretty much everything that you've talked about.
Yeah. Habits are tough. And I think one thing when it comes to people making change with fitness, like change in general is hard. But people would like to use the word just a lot. And I think that should be removed from their vocabulary. They'll say, I just need to work out more. Right. I just need to eat better. I just need to sleep more. And what you do when you use that word just is that you take away, the idea of the effort that might be required, and that you can just wake up, I just need to do this. And you just have that will, no pun intended, but you just have that will to just summon that change.
Right.
And unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. But helping people understand that when you're looking to make a change, it's tough. So being okay with the fact that change is hard.
Very hard.
And, one, for myself, having compassion to that client,
right,
reminding them to have compassion for themselves and having grace with themselves as they're working through the process of change, and really making the goal clear, and then making the habit for that goal small. So for example, if someone is, say for example, they want to have more energy, so by the end of their workday, they can still spend time with their family. That's their goal. Well, they need certain skills to lead up to that goal. And that could be, a person that gets consistent sleep every night. And then what is it that we want to practice? Well, you want to practice a pre-bed ritual, right? So that could be something like setting an alarm to tell you to turn off your electronics, getting ready for bed at 9 p.m. So usually we have an alarm to wake up. Not a lot of people think about the strategy behind like setting up an alarm to go to bed. And then the habit or the action could be, breath work before bed, something to calm your nervous system, doing a stretch routine. So keeping it very simple and small, but it leads towards, again, having more energy to spend time with the family.
Right. That's awesome. Now we're going to get into kind of lifestyle, mindset, and recovery. You work with sleep, stress, and recovery. What do most people get wrong about rest and recovery? You can use me as an example.
In general, what they get wrong is that it doesn't matter. I think it's very, very underrated. Sleep is like when I have a client or someone who's looking to train, and again, I'll go through the assessment and they say they get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. I'm like, that's amazing. That's an amazing start. Mm-hmm. And, I can see that things will start to snowball for them very quickly once they're in that space, because so many things happen when we sleep, right? When you get a good night's rest, you're in a better mood. Your decision making is a lot better. Right? You're more aware. You can prepare better. Just on the cognitive side, physically, you feel good. Emotionally, you're feeling good. So a lot of things, we get a lot of benefits when we focus on our sleep. And I think you can probably classify it as an epidemic that people aren't getting enough sleep. Mm-hmm. And it's almost normal to just be sleep deprived. So filling in habits of like having a lot of caffeine throughout your day or energy drinks, those sort of things, and not actually fixing the problem. And just using sort of Band-Aids. So having that awareness is key. And then just working from there, again, not all or nothing, right? Like, okay, I'm getting 5.5, 6 hours of sleep. Got to get 8 hours. Oh, I didn't get it. And then people go into this like negative self-talk about sleep. Something so simple and so innate. It's like, oh, I'm a bad sleeper, or I just can't sleep well. And those things influence how you think about sleep. Sure. So again, having the compassion, letting people know it's hard, and then not all or nothing is, okay, how can we get 10 minutes more of sleep, 15 minutes more, and then working towards that bigger goal.
How many hours do you get?
7 is a sweet spot.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And it's tough as well. And then everyone's situation is different. Right. So in recent years, like my daughter was born early 2021. So those first few years were really tough with like managing sleep, and definitely something I can relate to when I'm working with other parents. Definitely something I keep in mind when working with people who travel a lot, especially when they're taking trips that shift time zones. So everyone's situation and approach to improving their sleep is going to be different. Right. And again, just recognizing where they're at, having that grace, and doing things that continue to fill their cup and fill their energy so they feel good and rested.
Awesome. What is one underrated habit that can make a big difference in performance? I'm going to say sleep.
Yeah, it's sleep. And I intuitively knew that for quite some time. And then I focused on testing it for myself, um, just taking away habits that pulled away from my time for sleep. Screens, video games, like mindless scrolling, putting that in a different part of the day, having
Mhm.
time blockers. So I know at the end of the night, okay, I'm going to be getting this much sleep. Um, and I started to see those benefits for myself, and then doing more research, I saw the effect on like weight loss, building muscle, immune system, and luckily there was a great course, Sleep, Stress, and Recovery through Precision Nutrition. Most of my credentials are through that organization, and it's one of my favorite courses. Definitely would recommend to, it's not a plug, but definitely would recommend to any fitness professional, because it gives you not only the understanding and the science behind it, but how to coach people through those changes.
Awesome. Uh, how do you coach clients who feel like they're too busy to train or take care of themselves?
Hmm, that's a good question.
I can say from experience, just with mine, when I first started, it was a daunting kind of task. I knew I wanted to do it. I hadn't trained in probably 10 years. I knew I wanted to get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the beginning, I there was always a reason why I couldn't make it over to see you, or there was a reason why I couldn't do something.
Mm.
And I think you took the time to kind of assess, well, what's really going on? Like, is that really important what you're working on right now, that you can't afford the hour to look after you? And my
Mm-hmm.
goal as I age, and we'll also say that Will is happy to train any age. Um, my goal was to make sure that I'm still going to be fiercely independent when I'm 80, and I'm going to be able to walk upstairs like that. And of course, great arms and a good physique. That's what I was looking for. But it's mostly getting my mind prepared to for the next chapter in my life at
Mm-hmm.
this age.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where the key point for you to keep me engaged was giving me these tools to I can achieve that, and
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
time I leave, I feel like I did that. I did.
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
like our fist bumps,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like that is an achievement for me. And I
Yeah.
think that's what you provide as well. Like amongst everything else, I think that's a big part of it is just your coaching technique. It's not pushy, it's not abusive, it's encouraging.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Yeah.
that would be my answer to that question
Yeah.
for you.
Cool. Well, thank you for that. It's always nice to hear someone else's perspective. And you made some good points in what you're saying just now. Even one, like knowing your goals.
Hmm.
So having clarity is important, um, because a lot of times people who are too busy is like another phrasing for procrastination.
Right.
And then a lot of times procrastination is really from not having clarity on what you need to do, which is why people are procrastinating. So one of the biggest ways I think I help people is just by listening and allowing them to share what they want for themselves and understand what's important. So again, the discovery calls that I do to set people up for fitness is really helpful, because you know oftentimes people don't have access to fitness professionals that they trust.
Right.
They're looking through the internet, or seeing some pop up and it's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is what's going on. It's like, oh, I should try this diet out or something. Like, not actually having someone they can bounce ideas off of, not only with regards to the science, but then how it applies to their own life.
Right.
So having that clarity is helpful. And then as well, um, time audits, right? So actually looking at what you're doing with your time. And again, it's something that people can procrastinate about, because there's some things that they know, but when you write it down or note it down, it's like, oh, it feels real.
Right.
Oh, I need to change this. Change is uncomfortable.
Right.
So slowly inching towards those strategies, bringing clarity, um, auditing your time, and then also making sure that goal is important. Because sometimes people will talk about the things that they want for themselves, but then there isn't enough of a push to make them go through those changes.
Right.
So if it's important to you, finding a way, and finding support is a big part. I, support people through the fitness side, but I also encourage them to find support through other circles in their life and just sharing like, yeah, I'm going on a fitness journey. I'm going to be working out at least 3 times a week. Like your friend will say, okay, I'll check up on you. So having all angles of support is helpful as well.
I know my friend Lucas, whenever I'm going, he'll either walk me there because it's close to our work, or he'll text me. It's like, have a good time or do a good at the gym. And then when I'm done, it's like, hope the gym session went well. So there's huge support from him for sure. Now we're going to almost do a bit like Stephen Colbert. We're going to close this out with a bunch of just random questions. Cool. What's something people are always surprised to learn about you?
Everyone is surprised to know that not just that I dance, but the style of dance that I do. So I've
seen your Instagram.
Yeah, my main style is krump. And that is a street dance style that originated in Los Angeles. I'm one of the pioneers in Toronto of that dance style. And I've been doing it just a bit longer than I've been coaching. But it's very powerful, dynamic, can feel aggressive. There's a lot of like energy to it. And so people will meet me and we'll have conversations, and then I'll show them that I do this dance. They're like, what? Is this the same person? And to me, I say like, it is like the same fire I have about fitness and helping people. I think this is where it sits here. And then dance, krump is just a different way for me to express that.
That's awesome. Well, I didn't know that about you. So that's other than what I've seen on Instagram, but you also have a very calming presence, so it's kind of hard to believe, I guess, that there's such a dynamic between the two, but that's amazing. What's the weirdest fitness trend you've ever seen, and did you try it?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
Have you tried any of them?
One that I've definitely tried a few. You got to see it for yourself.
For sure.
But there's one around like celery juice and just drinking celery juice.
That doesn't
helping
hurt.
You with your health. It doesn't hurt. But I mean, to all the other claims, I could have done more blood work to check. But of course, like just having a good, well-rounded, balanced diet, I think trumps any overall fitness fad out there. Even something like intermittent fasting, which is great. There's a lot of science behind it, can be effective. But sometimes people miss the big picture or the big point when they're looking for changes. So intermittent fasting could be good to, for cognitive benefits and then also digestive health. But then within the windows that you are eating, what are you eating? Right? So are you still eating junk? And then other habits around that, are you, working on your sleep? Even when I consider like intermittent fasting, it's like, okay, what else are you staying away from? Like, again, staying away from junk food, staying away from bad relationships, staying away from, things that don't serve you, setting those boundaries. So I think intermittent fasting it's effective, but also understanding like what are basic and foundational movements or concepts to just being in good health. Once you have that in check, then you can start to explore other things.
Awesome. Is there a fitness myth you wish would just go away?
Fitness myths. There's a lot. I wouldn't say this one is a myth, but maybe people lean too much on this thought that cardio is the best for weight loss. So like just constant running on the treadmill for hours. Yes, you're burning calories. Yes, you're starting to use fat for energy more. But then there's more effective ways to do that. Number one, like being strength training and building muscle. Our body becomes more metabolic. So now we're using more energy even at rest. So ensuring that you have a phase of strength training or incorporate that through your training. When you're doing that conditioning, it's going to be much more effective. So I think not just leaning on cardio for body composition goals.
I love hearing that because, as you know, I hate cardio. So, and I love the fact that when we first started training, we did cardio just the first 5 minutes just to warm up. But I think you recognized I can't stand it and I don't do it well. So you found other ways to warm me up.
Strategically throw that cardio in there
That
too.
being said, tonight you'll probably make me do cardio just for saying that.
How do the walking lunges feel?
No, I hate those.
Heart's
Lower
going,
body,
though.
I hate. I love the upper body. I hate the lower body. What song instantly gets you pumped to move? Sex Pistols, Neil Diamond, Forever in Blue Jeans.
I go through some different things with music. Like yesterday, I was listening to just some like cafe sort of jazz.
Nice.
No lyrics, just instrumental, something that just allows me to have my head clear. But sometimes I want things that are like keeping me moving, have more energy. Larry June is a hip hop artist, a rapper that's really cool for some of his lyrics focused on, being healthy, talks about like going for walks, talks about going for bike rides, even just like the deeper health aspect of like keeping your peace, and then entrepreneurial sort of concepts of like doing your taxes. And like, I've never heard any rapper talk about doing your taxes and being on top of your taxes, having good credit score. So he kind of keeps me going. Inspiring. Good beats. Yeah. Inspiring.
Nice. If you could train anyone, living or dead, who would it be?
Oh, that's such a good question. That is such a good question.
I think I stole that from Colbert, but
I think if I was to so many. So just playing around with the idea, it's like, okay, anyone living, dead. I'm thinking like, okay, let's push that even different timelines. If I can go back and, train my parents when they were younger, I think that would be really cool to
love that answer.
Just influence them and just understand and recognize the power of fitness, right? How that can keep you grounded, especially when you have a routine. So I think that would be really cool. And then some other people that come to mind, I think some people would think like, oh, as a trainer, wouldn't you want to work with an athlete or, be on the big stage, professional athletes? And I think that's definitely cool. And I've had that experience, but where I'm at now, I think it would be an honor to really work with people who have strong influence within the health system, healthcare, wellness across the city, across the province, across the country. So looking at like, for example, Chief Public Health Officer, which I think was Teresa Tam, and I think she's ended her term, so someone else will be filling in that position. To even some of the top doctors in different sectors of their scope, whether that's psychology, people in cancer and different areas, and just working with people who have a lot of influence and say, who can get a lived experience of the benefits of fitness. I think that would be really cool. And then seeing, having those people speak would be different because they have that lived experience. I think how things would be applied in the greater scale would be talked about a lot differently. One more person would be
me.
I already have that. I'm so blessed.
It's true.
But working with people who run some insurance companies, I think would be really cool to, again, have them have that lived experience and benefit of fitness. And they may not be the people to make these sort of changes. And when you asked me that question, I thought it was great to even think about this. But a lot of insurance companies don't cover anything fitness related, so there's more expenses towards like massage, osteopath, those sort of things. So understanding like what changes need to be made in our industry so that we can find coverage for that, or companies would be willing to cover that, because
Right.
there's so many benefits. We all know it.
It's awesome. You just want to help everybody. I love that. That's a great answer. I'm going to close this by allowing you to kind of tell us how people can get a hold of you. I can highly recommend Will. He's my favorite. I've trained with a few people before, and by far, until we see what happens tonight with cardio or anything. But yeah, tell everybody. Yeah, let's do that, camera.
My name is Will Haywood, founder of Blacksmith Performance. You can Google Blacksmith Performance. You can find me on Instagram, Blacksmith_performance, or you can also find me on LinkedIn, William Haywood, and you'll see Blacksmith Performance there. So if you're looking for support, whether that's one-on-one support or looking to bring wellness into your company, we also focus on corporate wellness and supporting employees and teams. You can reach me at any of those methods. Happy to get in touch.
Awesome. Well, this is what you always do after a good
yes.
set. So I want to thank you very much, Will.
You're welcome.
This has been amazing.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.